Hello and welcome to PM Express Corporate Wednesday. Today we're talking education. One of the biggest investments you can make as a parent is to give your kids the right foundation. And the right foundation means the right education that would equip them for life. Today we're coming to you from Gomwa Manso, 15 minutes drive away from Winneba Junction, where once a dream, gradually becoming a reality, we are located within the premises of Morgan International Community School. Join us as we tour you around the facility of Morgan International Community School.
This is a picture of our facility, of the whole campus.
Okay.
So we are currently in this section right here. So the dormitory, the residential part of the school is in this area, and the classroom blocks are in this area.
How many classroom blocks do you have?
There's 4 with 2 admin blocks. So 4 classrooms blocks and 2 admin. And the classroom blocks, when I take you there, I'll explain the size and the structure of them. Yes.
I could see your plans for...
Yes, I'm going to take you up there. We'll have the football field developed.
Like a swimming pool here.
Yes, that's a futuristic. And these are proposed classrooms for the future. So these are not on the campus at the moment.
Of course, with the science laboratory and all that, right? All the
we have a state-of-the-art science laboratory being built here currently, which will be transferable into the state-of-the-art classrooms in the future. So we have high standard.
How soon are we looking at having this infusion?
Within about 3 years, I think.
About 3 years?
Yes.
And so far you're about what percentage done?
We've about 90% done.
90%?
I would say of the current existing facility.
Okay, so it's in phases, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I wanted to show you at the end of each of the blocks for the dorms, the boarding rooms, there are 2-bedroom apartments for the supervision, the house boarding master or the house boarding mistress. So they are located on the campus 24/7.
So you have one in each?
2-bedroom apartments, there's six of them.
Oh, okay, so there are 2 in each apartment.
2-bedroom apartments. Here we have the living area, a kitchenette that's going to be developed, private bath, and two bedrooms. So it's a 2-bedroom flat, but the concept is that the boarding master, boarding mistress is located on their block, and they're there available for the students 24 hours of the residential program.
So what would be their job primarily as boarding masters
to ensure that that the safety and security of students are taken care of during their time in residence, that if students are sick during the day that they're looked after, let's say they have to be excused from the classrooms, and to ensure that there's supervision throughout the day and the night for the students. If students take ill, how do they deal with those procedures?
How do you intend to ensure discipline, especially when there have been instances where we've heard of abuse of kids and you have people or house masters on the same campus with the students? How do you intend to deal with such a situation?
It's our intention that each teacher that we put on contract, we will have ask them for a criminal registry check, so that they will have to register to demonstrate to us that there's nothing in their background that would give us cause or concern with them and the students. So that's an expectation that all of them will go through that.
This is currently the girls' dormitory area?
Yes, and we're walking toward the girls' dorm, the sample dorm, which we would like to show you.
How many dormitories do you have in all here?
Well, in the section that we've developed, we have 19 rooms, the capacity for 38 girls in this first phase. Beyond the common room, we have the ability to complete another 38 and then move on to the next dorm blocks.
Okay.
So we're now entering the finished girls' dorm.
All right. It's not bad at all.
So they have air conditioning, ceiling fan, which they can regulate whichever one they like. There's the study carrel. We will be putting up a bookcase and the wardrobe. And as you can see, There's also the private bath for them.
That's fine. So there's a private bathroom here.
Yes, there is.
Okay. All right, not bad at all. And this, I presume,
Their wardrobe, yes.
Wardrobe for
Yeah.
the girls. Okay.
So the boys' dorm is set up a little bit different.
Okay.
This is the boys' dormitory, and we're proposing 3 boys to a room. We will have single beds, bunk beds, but there's the potential to have 4. That's why you see the double wardrobe in the boys. Okay. And the difference here is that there are 2 adjoining boys' rooms. So there's a bit of opportunity for community to develop between them, particularly if they're cross-grade. And then their washroom facility is a bit larger than the girls because that also accommodates 2 showers and 2 private washrooms as well. So it's not in the sense that the size has been taken away from the girls. It's just the way of the layout of the room.
But what kind of programs do you have laid down for proper communal interchange? Bearing in mind that it's an international school and you're expecting students or pupils from across the world. I mean, do you have a proper laid out?
Yes, we do. We do. So the residential facility will be broken into what we call the house system. So students across grade and girls and boys will be mixed into a particular house. And of course, there's a student representative council that has leadership input into the activities that they would do. So let us say Saturday night, once a month, there's a drama or some kind of a competition, and so the houses will compete or participate in some kind of a competition or drama of their choice. It could be dance, it could be mime, it could be it could be voice, it could be singing, whatever. So there's an opportunity for them to get together in terms of a community, and it's across the school, across the grades. So the younger ones get to know the older ones have opportunity to show their leadership and to model to the younger ones what appropriate behavior is. But the Student Representative Council is critical because they are the ones that give feedback with regards to the residential experience, the dining experience, and of course the academic experience with the co-curricular activities. So a lot of what we will do in terms of co-curricular and house activity is going to be generated through the student body. That's bottom line. So internationally and nationally, there's that wonderful interchange, because one of the objectives of an international school is to give back to the host country. And how nice is it that the host country is actually in residence? There'll be a lot of Ghanaians here as well as the international. So it's not elite, it's a community.
That's right.
And our activities will be pushing them toward that.
Basically, this is an educational institution. That's the primary aim of it. Take me through the entrance to the exit. What age group comes in, and then how long they stay, and at what point do they leave?
Right, the students come in year 3, so they'll be 8 years old, and we want them to leave at the age of about 16, 17 when they finish the diploma program. So that's basically 10 years of schooling at Morgan International.
So you intend to keep them here for 10 years?
Yes.
Wow.
If they start from year 3, yes.
So then when they're not coming in for 10 years, at what age can they, or at what grade do they come in, which is equivalent to our JHS system, which prepares them for university or college outside?
They'll come in year 7, so they'll go through year 7, year 8, year 9, year 10. 9 and 10 will be
What's it called, grade 7, you mean?
Grade 7, exactly. Year 9 and 10 are the years for the International General Certificate in Education for Cambridge. Then after that, they'll do the diploma, the International Baccalaureate, which is year 11 and 12. So that means 6 years in secondary. SHS is 3 years, and the junior high is 3 years, so that is equivalent to 6 years as well. but because we are doing the SS exams for the WASSCE, that's 3 years, and you only do that after you've done the year 7 and year 8, so that will become 5 years. Okay. Our aim is to make our students able to enter any university in the world. So the International Baccalaureate diploma program will enable them to do that. So a child is advised to start in year 3 to go through the course. Then the JHS course that we do is the Cambridge one, and it's best to start in year 7 in order to go to year 8, because at the end of year 8 there are exams in mathematics, in English, and in science. And for a child to do well in those subjects, they should have started the course in year 7 to understand the requirements for that exam. Then the Cambridge one, it's a 2-year course, year 9 and year 10, so it's advisable to start at the beginning. But what I would also like to stress to you is that we're not just teaching to the exam, we're going beyond the exam, we're looking at lifelong learning. So what we do in the classroom is meant to be useful to the students outside the classroom in the real world. So we're not just focusing on exams. Our aim is to foster lifelong learning, right? And one of our aims is to make sure that all our students become future leaders of tomorrow. So leadership permeates all our subjects. And here we're looking at servant leadership, not just being someone who's able to get up in the morning and say, I have a company of 20 people and I'm going to order them to do this. Our students have to learn how to work with people and how to do things for themselves. So besides just learning, right, I'll go on to the subjects just now, they'll also be doing chores to understand how things are done and how, if they are to own a company, how that is going to work itself out from the experience they are gaining in school. We have subjects like global perspectives, which teach students to think and to reflect about the community, about the world, and they'll be involved in community projects like maybe clearing certain parts of the ocean, taking care of old people, and that's all part of the subject, and there'll be a written exam to that.
Called Global Perspective.
Yes, and it's a new subject that Cambridge has introduced, so not a lot of schools are doing that. And also enterprise, as you mentioned, it's a new subject, and we're also going to go there because we feel that the world is business focused, and we want our students to be able to function in any sort of business setup. So those are the subjects we have. We also have Spanish. A lot of schools do French, but we are offering French and Spanish, and that's going to lead itself nicely into the diploma program, where they have to do Spanish as a second international language, as the second language.
Well, we're very cautious about who we're going to hire as the master person in the kitchen. Definitely will be looking at all food groups and trying to offer a balance of local as well as international cuisine. And the choice, of course, will come through the students. Again, I said to you before, there's a Student Representative Council, and students will be asked questions regularly around the menu, around their residential experience, around their academic experience. So the types of cuisine, the food that we'll be offering, will be based on student opinion and student feedback. But of course, we would like to ensure that all food groups are addressed so that it's healthy and balanced. There's 3 meals a day, and there'll be snack in the evening.
There are two key issues. This is my last question. 2 key issues that came up. You talked about entrepreneurship and farming. With the curriculum that we have locally, entrepreneurship is not something that has been embedded, in the curriculum. What is so important about entrepreneurship that you decide to put it in your curriculum for the kids at a very early age?
Yes, well, it's putting the content into practice. If you take a look at the senior high school curriculum, agriculture forms part of it. But there's the textbook knowledge and then there's the practical knowledge. So entrepreneurship takes it one step further. If I'm to study business or economics or agriculture, the entrepreneurship is providing opportunities for the students to take that concept, that idea, and to actually put it into practice. So if we're looking at agriculture, what are some of the things that we could do that is grown locally, that is provided locally, and to take it one step further and to see how we could actually become a little mini business people or mini business leaders within the school community.
Morgan International Community School. How I wish I went to Morgan International Community School when I was growing up. We didn't have it that good. Yeah, we went to good schools, but it wasn't that quite lush. With me in the studio to discuss this issue, we're not talking about Morgan Community School itself. We're looking at education, and especially that foundation, the early start. The bit where when you get it wrong, it all goes wrong. That's what we're looking at today. And to my extreme left is Moses Amwama. He's an educationist. Moses, welcome to PM Express.
Thank you.
And then to my immediate left is Phyllis Hildebrandt. She has a PhD and been an educationist for the last 30 years. So she has seen every child, the naughty ones, the good ones, the slow ones, the fast ones. And she's the head of Morgan International Community School. Phyllis, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Phyllis, I'm going to start with you. Now, I would love, and I'm sure most parents, from what we saw, the environment, everything says that, yeah, everything has been planned well. But if I put my child to that school, and Phyllis is the head of the school, what is my guarantee that my child is going to go through this school and doesn't turn up a Canadian or turn up Swedish or German, but still have his African, traits or culture with him? Now, white people are very good at keeping time. There's no doubt about it. We are very bad at keeping time. So I would want the blend of my child going through school and you telling him or her how to keep to time, but I still want that child to come out as a decent African. And I might lose it if you were the head.
I don't think so. A part of the mandate for international schools is to ensure that they give back to the host country and that they recognize and acknowledge the host country. Mm-hmm. The beauty of our school is that we are running both the national curriculum, senior high 1, 2, and 3, as well as an international curriculum. So while our international students will bring different perspectives, different beliefs, and different views to the Ghanaian students, the students that are from Ghana, in turn, can enrich them with the culture and the values and the traditions. And of course, we recognize and acknowledge that through various activities at the school level and various special days that are designated for just particularly the Ghanaian tradition and values and beliefs. So it's a beautiful mix, and I don't think that your child, if they're from Ghana, will lose any of their culture or their beliefs.
That was my main thing that I was worried about. When they said, oh, you're going to interview the head, I said, no problem. And I thought, oh, so I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Moses, you see, when we were growing up,
yeah,
right, you could go to school. I went to Martin de Porres, and then you go to Accra Academy, and then you go here, then you go there. So, and then there was inter-colleges as well. So by the time you go through the ranks, you would have met with so many and interacted with so many students or your classmates from all walks of life. So you go up, you turn up in a bank and you see someone, oh, I know you from somewhere, oh, yeah, this. But now, you enter one school and then you probably literally graduate from that school. How's the society or the generation after us, how are they going to grow up if the only people you grow up with were the guys you went to school with, missing that opportunity that we had?
Yeah. I don't think they are missing that opportunity in the first place.
Okay.
Because, the world is becoming a global place, and we need to do things scientifically, technologically, and the students we are having now, once the school has a facility, and the school has, let's say, the sporting facility, they have all the facilities the children need to go into sports. The school can develop the students from that point. Then it's also a matter of fact that the school themselves must take that step of organizing sporting activity among themselves. You know,
among themselves.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about other schools that are not necessarily.
No, I mean the schools in the district.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Okay.
The schools in the districts, the leaders of the school or the management of the school should be able to extend what they have learned, what they have taught their children to other schools, and organize competitions. You know, once you're in the community, you don't have to live in isolation. You need to involve other schools. So, for instance, if we are in a community, Morgan International Community School is supposed to be in the central region. There are other schools there in the central region. Morgan International Community School has all the facilities. Now, what Morgan has to do after training the children or giving them that opportunity in their school, they should send the children out. And it shouldn't be the district education officer that should come in there to organize sporting activities for the school. So I think that it's more of leadership and management, that the schools in the area or in a particular district can extend whatever friendliness to other schools so that they can compete themselves. Now, once you do that, your students get to know other students from other schools. That is, I see it from leadership and management point. Yeah.
Okay. Phyllis, another thing which concerns me personally is that I find that we have literally, here in Ghana, we have literally limited education to literally alphabets and numbers, literally numeracy. It's just that pie chart, division, multiplication, and so nothing else. No social life, like the walk in the woods or how to cross the road, etiquette, courtesy. All those things have been sort of, we haven't put too much emphasis on it. And we put a lot of emphasis on this. And as we all say, that education is what is left after you left school. And you most probably forget Pythagoras theories and all that thing. You will forget it. So if you then don't have all these etiquettes and social life and all that, then what is left with you once you come out there? And because of the fierce competition to keep up with grades, because you want your kids to pass, so you can't be walking in the woods and learning how to cross the road or doing this and that. So go and sit down in your books. How are you going to blend that?
Well, current theory in education is that we move beyond just the knowledge and the skills that we teach students, and we give them experiences that would consolidate that understanding. And that is through extracurricular, through co-curricular opportunities that the kids are provided to practice, put into practice, and consolidate their understandings of the mathematics or the literacy skills that they learned, so that it's more of a holistic education, that it makes sense. What we do after we leave the classroom is related to what we have taken in the classroom. So it's a wonderful blend, and it's a consolidation of understanding, so that there's not just the knowledge and the skills, but the attitudes and behaviors that they develop through those experiences that make them better able to cope in the real world.
Global prospectus. I was when we were watching the clip, the lady or the teacher said, global prospectus. What is global perspectives?
Global Perspectives is a new course that has come out from Cambridge, and we're looking to offer it because it talks about real life issues, and it takes the students from where they are to different perspectives that are out there in the world. And if we're looking at an international school, international mindedness is very important, so that whether you're a student from Ghana or Nigeria or from the United Kingdom, you have an understanding of different perspectives and beliefs of how you would approach a different concept or a different task. So within that course, it's relevant current perspectives around the world and problems that students have to solve and discuss. And we know that once you have an experience and you have an opportunity to discuss it amongst your peers in the classroom and with the classroom teacher, you then have an opportunity to form a plan to be able to solve the problems that may come forward to you once you leave the classroom. So that lifelong learning takes it beyond the classroom into the real world.
Moses,
Yeah.
I know that the world is not fair.
Yeah.
There are some people who get the opportunity to go to a very privileged school, some not so privileged. But I look at your school and, I want to go to that school, but it's a privileged school. How do we ensure that the children that come through it don't get all stuck up that, we are here and they are there? How do you discipline these children? I don't know if discipline is the right word, but educate them to understand that, we're fortunate to come here, but we're all equal. How do you do that blend?
Yeah, there is community service.
Okay.
As we saw in the clip, that through the community service, they are all asked to come together, work together in the community, and also work together in the school. So by so doing, you move away this inferiority complex normally among the blacks who come to mix with the whites. So you let them work together, and you group them into non-rational basis where they can learn from each other, they do work together, they study together. These are some of the things that the schools, when they bring out, will move that inferiority complex from the student.
Very good. We're going to go for a quick break, and when we come back, I'm going to put the same question to Phyllis and then find out, how do we make sure that these new age children are definitely Ghanaians and understand that they are the few who've got the opportunity, and indeed, after you got that opportunity, impact it to the others? Stay tuned, we're coming straight back. Well, welcome back. Just before we went on a break, and that's something that really bothers me, because as a Ghanaian, what I tend to see is that we have children in really good schools who are becoming extremely westernized because of their international exposure, and then you have ones that are not in so good schools who are, the gap is very big. And I'm looking at this school, and it's a beautiful school, and there's Philip here who's has a PhD in education, and I'm just trying to wonder, how is he going to train these children to understand that the fact that you are fortunate or privileged does not separate you from the ordinary guy on the road? So Phyllis, how are you going to do that? That's brilliant. I mean, they are living with luxury, they are seeing the luxury. How do they come out from school and still appreciate that, okay, we were fortunate, but we still need to give equal respect to people who were not as fortunate as us? I mean, how do you break them down to do that?
Part of the program for the students is community service, and they are required to go out into the community, as you saw in the video, and to do service either in environment or working
local
with people.
Clinic.
Exactly, and through that service there's a recognition and understanding of their immediate surroundings and the greater surroundings, so it could move within any part of Ghana or even other parts of the world. And I think that action and that service that they are required to do gives them a sense of what the real world is like. The real world is not privileged, is not all affluent, and so having to go through that in a team effort with other students in their class or other students in the house system, I think will give them a sense that they are lucky, they were privileged enough to have a wonderful education experience, but that there's other things that need to be done in terms of the world and the community.
That's very important.
Very, very important.
Very important. Moses, the other thing, you're an educationist, so you know this. I built two structures, the same, identical, even the same contractor. One I label government school, the other I label private school. The chances are the kids that go to the private school would come out with better grades than the ones that went to government school. I mean, what happens? Is it a sign? What happens?
Yeah. A lot of things go into education when we talk about educating the child. Right from the accreditation of the schools, we need to do some proper work there. There's a need for the education officers to check certain things before they give accreditation to any school to operate in Ghana. If you don't get the required facilities, if you don't get a required human resource, and you don't get a required teaching and learning aids for the children to do proper learning, you will have a defect in the learning process. Now, what I'm saying is that in the government system, what they basically lack is supervision.
Okay.
What they basically lack is supervision. The government teachers have been trained, they have been posted to their various schools to go and teach, but unfortunately, they have no effective supervision. Supervisors are being paid, but I see very little being done by supervisors to see to what is being delivered in the classrooms. But when we go to the private institution, but it is also not all private institutions that are delivering quality because of the same.
No. I'm just generalizing.
Yes,
here.
you are generalizing, but it's not all private schools that are giving quality. A private school can be very beautiful, but what is being delivered is not up to the standard. So now we have seen Morgan. Morgan is talking about facilities, is talking about human resource. Get into the human resource and see if the human resource is that which they are talking about. If they're going to take the right human resource, they're going to put into the human resource some training, train them to be able to adapt to the teaching and learning process and be able to bring out the children that we want. So most of the time it's about management and supervision. If you have the structures and you have the teachers and you don't supervise their work, they will do nothing for you. You will not get to anywhere. So what is very important is getting the right people to deliver. If you have the right people, try to train them. Capacity building comes in here. The human resource must be trained to adapt to changes. So once the education is expanded, there must be changes. We shouldn't use the old syllabus when a new syllabus is in place. If you go to most of the government schools, they change the syllabus, but you see most of the teachers even do not know where the new syllabuses are. They will still be using the old syllabuses. So the issue here is about supervision and management. Once we have good supervision in the schools, it can be a public school, but they will do well. Once we have good management. Yeah.
Okay, so supervision. Phyllis, you've thought or you've supervised schools in Botswana. Now, Botswana has got, you read about it, and they have a very good educational system. They actually tailored the education towards the economy, where if they are running short of nurses, they, give scholarship to people to, go towards nurses. But I just want to look at just the, average child in a classroom in Botswana, the average child in a classroom in Ghana. I've not been to Botswana. Temperament, quick to grab things. Are they more likely to throw a paper when the teacher is teaching, or is it more in Ghana? What's the difference?
There is no difference. I've been all over the world, and kids are kids, and you're going to find a variety of them in classrooms. So to compare Ghana to Botswana or to Canada or the UK or to Australia, children are children, and they have basic needs, and if their needs aren't being met, sometimes that's when discipline issues come into play. And it's about the quality of teaching and learning that will get success in any classroom around the world. So there's no difference.
There's no difference. They're all the same.
They're all the same.
Oh, there we go. And one thing I noticed about Morgan is the surrounding. You can tell they've paid a lot of attention in the surroundings. Now, I don't fault it. It's really, really beautiful. Now, if I'm just coming there to, to learn and, go home, and aren't you putting too much effort in the manicuring of the garden? How does that help?
I think it helps to foster self-respect and a buy-in to the team or the family concept that we want to build at Morgan International Community School. There's a residential program, so the children are going to be there, and I think if we respect our buildings and our grounds, that they will begin to respect themselves and their rooms and the duties and chores that they have to contribute toward keeping the grounds clean. And I think that's part of human nature. We own a piece of property or we own a house, we want to keep our property to a standard that's acceptable. So we did put a lot of effort, and the facilities are fabulous, and the resources are going to be fabulous, but we also want our children to understand that we must care care for the facility, care for the environment, and if we care for ourselves and have respect that way, then we have truly given them some skills and attitudes and behaviors that are going to make them successful once they leave school.
Leadership. I hear a lot of focus on leadership. So is there going to be a separate course on leadership, or is
No, as was mentioned on the video, leadership is embedded throughout the curriculum, throughout the activities that the students do. Obviously, there are natural leaders, but there are some with the leadership ability that needs to be nurtured. So the opportunities will be multiple and embedded throughout the curriculum and co-curricular, extracurricular activities. And we also talked about servant leadership, that we must, serve first before we lead, so that we have to become part of the unit. That just because you're a leader doesn't mean that you don't have roles and responsibilities like the others. So it's very, very important for us.
Moses, the average child goes to nursery, right? And that's a typical Ghanaian. Yeah. And we are thought to be very, keep to yourself. Don't talk to him. Don't show your work. Don't share your snack. Don't do this. Don't do that. We very inwardly. And now I always argue that's why sometimes you become very self-centered. Then all of a sudden you come to Morgan and now you're supposed to share. Is there not going to be a conflict of what you've been taught? Not that I agree with what you've been taught, but then how do you now agree that, now I have to share, things? Because you've always, if you speak to your friend, your teacher comes and hit your hand with a ruler, why are you talking there? Why are you doing this? Don't help him. Don't do that. And we grow up with all these, I have to do it on my own, do it on my own. And then all of a sudden there's leadership. You need to share. The big conflict of education.
Yeah, I would say it's not education because, as I told you, the world is changing. And even these kids, they watch television. They watch a lot of movies and they see how things are being done now. Now you cannot go and tell the child, be on your own. No, it's changed. The child has watched on the television how things are done globally. So he will not come to school for you to tell him that, be on yourself. He will go out there and share. And as you were saying, now the teaching has become child-centered, child-driven. The child is made to do the research on him or herself so that the child will come out with his answers. So the teacher sits back and see that is the leadership aspect they are talking about. And it's unfortunate most of our schools are not doing it. But I'm happy Morgan International Community School want to do that. If their training is going to be child-centered, child-driven, children will give it opportunity to go do research by themselves and bring out the solutions that will bring out the leadership skills in the child. And that is what we are talking about. That's where a teacher will not come and tell the child, do this, do that, do that. It is over. It is over. Unless a typical Ghanaian setting or a government school that you will see this. But when we talk about private and we talk about advancement in education, now it is child-driven. And I think Morgan is on the right path. Once they are going to make the education child-driven.
Okay, we're going to go for our second break, and when we come back, I want to find out from Phyllis, what's the policy on vernacular? If I spoke Ga or Twi on campus, do I get punished? Stay tuned, we're coming straight back. Well, so we are at Morgan International Community. We are in the dormitory, and I'm talking to my friend, Minisade, it's saying, and then Phyllis just comes into the dormitory. Do I get punished because I was speaking my own language?
No, you do not get punished because you were speaking your own language. We are an English medium school, and of course the language of instruction is English. There's additional languages that are taught, and we would definitely encourage our children to speak their language with their friends. What we would worry about is that there would become an isolated group. So we would encourage that if children are playing together, that they speak the language that's common to all. And it could be a language other than English, but no, we would not punish you, and we would not discourage you from that.
Moses, in our days, it was a taboo. There was somebody in class, I didn't even want to mention his name now, who used to have his pen and paper, and they say, yeah, who are those speaking in vernacular? And then he had his long list. He was speaking in vernacular, she was speaking, and you got punished. and you got punished for it. You know, you got punished for it. Now, you see, another thing which, to add to you is, we Ghanaians now have developed this culture where it's all English. Even with the little ones as young as 3, 5, it's all English. Now, because the parents themselves have got limited vocabulary in English, you then just give that child that limited vocabulary. So the child then grows to be like 8, and he or she has got no other language to translate to English to get a lot of vocabulary. But it's growing, it's a growing menace. You know, so how do we stop this, and how do we encourage that we let children speak their mother tongue at an early age?
So in the house, for instance, in the house, parents should do well to be speaking their mother tongue.
No, but the parents are not. You know, parents are now, everybody wants to speak English.
And that is wrong. That's what I want to say. That is wrong. When the children go to school, they are taught the English. Now, when they come to the house, you can speak English with the children, but among yourselves as parents, you must be speaking the Ghanaian tongue. And once your child hears you speaking, he will pick it from there. You might as well speak to him sometimes the Ghanaian tongue. So sometimes, maybe weekends when you're all at home, all of you can decide to speak the Ghanaian language. If you can't, you can speak the Ghanaian language. Your child will pick it from there. But we should avoid the situation where in the house, even at home, we are speaking English. And that is where the problem comes from. Well, if you speak English in the house, the child goes to the school, the child is also taught English, then the gap is there. The child does not know how to get the Ghanaian language. But if you, the parents at home, and other siblings or other aunties, uncles at home, speak Twi or speak the Ga or speak the Ewe at home, the child will be hearing it, because after all, in the school, they'll be doing the language. Every school is mandated by Ghana Education Service to do one language at a time. So at least the child will be doing a Ga, a Twi. So if you are speaking the Twi in the house, even though you communicate with the child in English, the child will be picking the language from what you are saying. And sometimes, over the weekend, you can speak the Twi for the children to speak Twi.
When you say
that is what is lacking in our family now.
Moses, when you say over the weekend, are you saying Monday through Friday communicate with them in English, and then over the weekend do your mother tongue?
No, what I'm saying is that even at home, during the weekdays, parents and other relatives should be speaking the mother tongue. You understand? Then the children will go to school, they will come, they have gone to school to read English, speak English, read English. When they come home, we are going to definitely talk to them in English, because they don't understand the mother tongue at that time. But when you are communicating among yourselves, you can't be using the mother tongue. And the child will be hearing the vocabs gradually, because he's learning them also in school. So as you speak, but I'm saying that on weekends, when all of you are at home, it's better to also let the children speak their mother tongue. Just try to communicate with them, because they'll be at home from morning to evening. So try to communicate with them in the mother tongue, and that will solve the problem.
I'm going straight to Cambridge, and there definitely has to be English. Now, Phyllis, what's the link between Cambridge, and are we talking the same big giant Cambridge in the UK?
Yes.
So
yes.
What's the link between Cambridge and Morgan?
All right. If we're offering the IGCSE and Cambridge 1 for grades 7 and 8, the IGCSE for grades 9 and 10, we have to be accredited. We have to be authorized by Cambridge to offer those programs. And along with accreditation comes a standard of teaching and learning in the classroom. So the resources, the knowledge base that the teacher has, and the curriculum that we would follow. But Morgan International Community School also aspires to be accredited through different organizations and bodies like the Council of International Schools, New England Association of Schools and Colleges, the International Baccalaureate Organization, for the other programs that they're offering, as well as the standard of education and quality that we want to offer. And the accreditation process is rigorous. It's multiple areas. It's not only the program, the curriculum, it's the facilities, it's the standard of teachers that you have to be authorized. So accreditation equates with good standards in education.
Do you have any links with any of the universities in Ghana, like maybe University of Ghana? Or?
At the moment, we are creating links, and we do have one with the university in Winneba.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So if I went through your facility, then I passed, then I could go to an international school without having to resit an exam, or
That's right. That's right. Usually, students in international programs, the mobility, it's seamless. If you want to go from one international school to another that has a like program, the transition should be seamless, and you should be able to enter. Yes.
At full capacity, how many students are you looking at?
A nice range would be around 600 students, but I think we have the capacity for more. But 600 is a very nice, manageable number, but we do have capacity for more.
Because I was going to go to managing. I was going to go to managing.
Yes.
So with 600, and you're going to have enough staff to manage them, because kids would always want to see how far they can push it.
Yes. I've been in a system where you've had up to 1,000 students, and it's more cumbersome to manage. But 600 is a very nice, manageable group for the age range the programs we're offering.
And are you looking at, I know we keep saying international. Are you looking to attract students from all over the world, or basically just students from Ghana?
No, we would be more than pleased if we had students from all corners of the globe, from all over the world that could come, because there's a lot to be learned from Ghana itself.
There is, and maybe through this program, I'm sure somebody elsewhere will see and bring some. The other thing I wanted to focus on, and go into general education, we are trying to get the early start right. One thing that I find missing is traditions and our cultures, really understanding them. Because it's all perceive without actually knowing why this is this, like chieftaincy and our cultures and our traditions not really being taught and explained properly in our schools. And I think it's very relevant.
Yeah, it is very relevant, but I don't agree with you when you say that it's not being taught in our schools, because they are in the syllabus, they are in the curriculum, and they are being taught. In the preschool, they are being taught. The children are being taught the culture. They are being taught the kinship, the leadership structure, and everything. Even at the preschool, then also in the lower primary, they are being taught. It's in their syllabus. It's in the curriculum. The upper primary is there. So I don't agree to that assertion that it's not being taught.
I think I rephrase and say that maybe the emphasis is not as much. Because you still find out a lot of people are very, very ignorant about their own culture. But they've gone through the mill, and they're very ignorant about their own culture. And they could probably tell you about the trooping of the colors, in the UK and in America, and, some more cultures more foreign to them than their own.
Yeah.
Can I just comment?
Yes.
I don't think that that's just a responsibility of the school. It's a responsibility of the parent and the home as well. If traditions and values and beliefs start in the home and the parents work with the school, then we would be much more successful at doing it. So as Moses said, it's not that it's not being done in the school. Maybe the partnership between the parents and the home and the school is not as good as it could be. And I think that that's one of the points that you're making, is that we need to be conscious in a school and in an international school that we ensure that the host country values, traditions, beliefs, the leadership, the kinship, all of that is understood by all of the students, because we must understand our host culture, and that's Ghana.
I mean, it's apart from you respecting and allowing all this, is there any extra effort to actually teach and explain, some of the cultures and traditions in the host country, which is Ghana?
Yes, there will be. There has to be accommodation made for that. And that could happen within the content of some of the classes that the kids are taking, or could happen in co-curricular or extracurricular activities. But it definitely is going to be built into it.
Then to add to it, it is some of these international schools that are not doing that. If you talk about some international schools, then I'll agree with you. Some international schools do not care about the Ghanaian culture. But as Morgan is assuring us here, I want to believe that Morgan International Community School will do as they are saying. If international schools can adapt the culture of their host nation and teach them, they can even take the Ghanaian culture as a subject, cultural studies, and teach the children about the Ghanaian culture. no matter where they are coming from. They may be coming from the UK or America. Once you are in Ghana, and if the Ghana Education Service, the accreditation board, can make it a mandatory subject for even international schools to teach cultural studies, Ghanaian culture, so that both the Ghanaians and international students will learn something about the host nation's culture. I think that will help. And as you said, parents must also be able to teach their children their culture once they are in the house.
Phyllis, what's the way forward for these new cyber kids of today? What's the way forward with regards to education, particularly getting the foundations right?
What is the way forward? I think one of the values or traits that we want to instill in our children is the risk taking. To be risk takers, so that and balanced in their approach to solve problems, so that they can become successful. If we don't provide those opportunities for them to take risks, if we don't allow them to become principle balanced and to do this in a group setting, they will not be successful individually. So our hope for them is that they have that international mindedness and that ability to take the risk and to solve the problem so that they can succeed.
I like that, risk takers. I think that's one thing that we really did when we were growing up in our time. Not that, I grew up ages ago, but you were able to take risk. You were not sat or glued behind a screen or any buttons. You had to get out there, get out the gates and, venture out and climb a tree and pluck a mango and play football and come back home and take risks. And I think one thing that really did was you became a little more resilient towards life. As life challenges were coming, you were able to face it much better. And I really like that close. Take risks. And I'm sure you've enjoyed Corporate Wednesday. Tomorrow we'll be back here to do it all over again. My name is Nana Sakwao. Thanks for watching.